It is exactly 9:32 a.m. This is News and Views right here on Salam Media. My name is Julie Ali. Thank you for joining us. And I am really sorry. I truly apologize for being the bearer of bad news. But unfortunately, I do have some doom and gloom on the way for you. The Tyre Importers Association of South Africa warns that the cost of tyres could increase, wait for this, by up to 41% if the four large domestic tyre producers, which is Continental, Bridgestone, Goodyear, and Sumitomo, collectively known as the SA Tyre Manufacturers Conference, are successful in their duty application. So let's talk with Charl de Villiers, Tyre Importers Association of South Africa. He is the chairperson. A very good morning to you. Welcome to the program. Charl, are you there? Charl de Villiers, Tyre Importers
Good morning.
Association of South
I can hear you now.
Africa. Welcome. Sorry about that. Doom and gloom, is it not? It's
Yes,
shock
it
upon
sounds
shock
like that.
upon shock. What
Yes,
on
I'm not
earth?
sure how much we can still take of this.
Goodness me. I mean, we're still reeling from the issue around the petrol increases and then Eskom, leaving us in the dark over and over and over again. Utility prices going up by about 12 or 14%. And now this, how much more can we take? What on earth is going on?
I'm not sure, but we're very concerned about this, hence the media briefing that we did yesterday. And we're hoping that sanity will prevail and that government will reject this application because I don't think the consumer is up for more shocks like this.
So, what on earth is going on with the four players in the South African market, the domestic tire producers? They are wanting their duty application to be looked at, and obviously that means. Does that say that the duties of imported tires are going to go up astronomically? They too, even though they're producing locally, they are also importers of a certain percentage of tires, are they not?
That is correct, yes. So what the local manufacturers have done is that they've applied for an increase in dumping duties on 8 tariff codes, which include passenger tires, commercial tires, and truck tires, and also SUV tires. And it ranges from an 8% to a 69.97%. So
Sure.
we've done some modeling, and the impact that it will have on the consumer. Let's just talk passenger tires, the normal 13-inch tires, smaller vehicles like the Suzuki Swift. You're talking about a 38 to a 40% increase in the landed cost from a tire out of China.
Yeah.
If you then look at a taxi tire, they'll be hardest hit at a 41% increase. And so we can go on. I mean, if you look at truck tires, and if you look, most of our product is transported by road, food, medicine, people. They're looking at about a 17 to an 18% increase in tire prices. So overall, it's going to have a massive impact. And when inflation is already at 7.4%, this will just push it further. And you're right in saying that the local manufacturers are also tire importers themselves. Out of the 3,200 products they offer for sale in South Africa, 80% of those products are actually imported and not manufactured locally. So for us, this is we're not happy with the application, and hence we will be opposing that at ITAC.
And obviously, Charl, I'm wondering if they kind of looking long term and possibly big picture thinking here, because if the price of the tires are going to go up that much, between 8 to 69%, can you imagine? Can you just begin to imagine what the taxi association is going to do about this? We're going to be having mass protests throughout the country. the civil society is not going to take this lightly. They're definitely not going to take lightly to the situation. Having said that, what is their justification for these high prices, high hikes in tire pricing?
They're claiming that tires from China are being dumped in South Africa, making it difficult for them to compete against the imports with their locally manufactured products. We obviously have other information to prove that it's not the case. I mean, if you look at certain SUV sizes, which they're also applying for a margin to be listed or added to the original already 25 or 30%, we find that in some cases we can't compete as importers with the local manufactured tires. They are actually cheaper. So the whole justification, we say it's wrong. I mean, you guys are also big importers. You're relying on importers to actually supplement your product lineup from factories throughout the world. So you can't ask for protection on products that you import yourself.
What might well happen is that they're going to price themselves out of the market then, because when the general public gets wind of the fact that importing tires from China is going to be way, way cheaper, we're not going to have these big players in South Africa. I mean, that would be the natural pushback or consequences by civil society. Have they thought about that scenario?
I'm sure they have. I can't answer them as to what their reasons are or what they think the pushback will be from the consumer. But we're just saying that, we can't see that we can afford this type of increase. It'll kill, what it will do is it'll kill the imports from China. And all it do is you move imports to a more expensive territory in Europe, where they have other manufacturing facilities, and the prices will normally rise. So your local produced products will also increase in price. So they will, and we're already seeing that they are announcing price increases between 6 and 15%, which will happen in the next month. And this is pre the announcement of any additional duty. So once that happens, we will see prices rise even further.
Well, I can tell you this much. I predict major uprising against this in the country. But be that as it may, Charl de Villiers, Tyre Importers Association of South Africa, let us understand what is your role as the chairperson of the association.
So my role is that we represent our members and of imported product, and the association. Our members employ about 3,200 employees, or just over 3,000. So we engage with government on various industry matters, and this being one of them. Other matters being, looking at illicit trade, trying to curb that, and also waste tires. We work closely with government to try and find solutions to process waste in South Africa.
Okay, let's then look at our current situation that we find ourselves in. If it goes ahead, how soon do we see those massive rises? Do you think there is that possibility that in some way or the other, this whole scenario could be avoided?
Sorry, the line's very bad. I'll try and answer as best I can. So if you're asking on the timeline, we don't know. The submissions have been made from the 31st of January when they published in the Government Gazette. They have 18 months, and if I say they, it's ITAC, to investigate the matter. They can then make a preliminary finding where they can then say, okay, that in the next month or two, or however long it takes them to process the application, they can then implement a preliminary dumping duty, which will be valid for 6 months. Within that 6 months, they would then have to finalize the whole process and then decide, do we carry on with the process, or do we totally stop it and not implement any additional duty? So we will have an answer within the next 6 to 7 months, I guess.
I'm wondering how this would impact on the 4 major producers in the country, tire producers. If they do go ahead with this, or if it is if government vetoes this whole issue, are we talking job losses? What does the scenario on both sides look like, if they go ahead or not go ahead with this?
Again, the line's very bad. I'm trying to get
Okay,
what you're trying to
all
ask.
right.
If
Let's.
you're talking
All
about
right.
job losses,
Yeah. Can I just repeat that question, Charl?
yes, please, if you don't mind.
All right. Let's look at both scenarios. Uh, you know, if if they do go ahead with this and the prices do increase, or if they don't go ahead with the price increase, the ridiculous increase in tire prices, are we talking job losses? What are the implications in both scenarios?
Well, if they go ahead with the application and they're successful, if they're 10% successful, I think definitely it'll affect the importers. There will be job losses in that sector. And we don't see that the local manufacturers will actually replace those jobs. The production lineups are set up in such a way that they rely on the international footprint to supply the shortfall of products not manufactured in South Africa. So we're not seeing that the locals will all of a sudden, with a flick of a switch, increase their production capacity and upgrade plants and employ more people. They will simply shift imports from one region of the world to another region of the world.
A very worrying situation indeed. The timeline, how soon? I've asked the question earlier, but I just want you to re emphasize for listeners who might have missed that. If the application is successful, how soon will this be implemented? I'm really very worried. In fact, I need a new set of tires for my car, so I better do it very, very quickly.
Yeah, I understand. Yes, we're all very concerned. The soonest, I guess, will be by the end of August, that they might come back and then implement the preliminary finding. We hope we're going to challenge that and try and kick the can down the road as long as possible. But that's going to be most probably the soonest we'll have an answer. But again, we're in the hands of ITAC, and we're not sure exactly when this will happen.
Okay, one final question. What is these increases? What would that mean regarding taxes in government's coffers?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
All right. If the increases do go ahead and they massive increases, surely it is going to mean a positive increase in taxes as far as government is concerned. So it's going to mean more money in government's coffers.
Well, yes and no. They think this way because all of a sudden your Chinese imports will stop or will reduce drastically. So you will lose the taxes out of China, which is at 25 to 30%. Now you move your purchases into Europe, and Europe's tax rate is 15%. So your tax will be less that government can collect. It won't be more.
So government's going to collect less tax, but we, civil society, are going to be paying up to 69% more on our tires if they're imported from Europe. It sounds like utter madness.
Yes, it does, and that is what will happen because your European markets are more expensive than the markets from the east. So you will pay more as a consumer, but government will get less in tax.
Charl, I must tell you that I'm more confused than ever before. It just does not make sense to my lay mind. I mean, why stop imports from China and go to a more expensive market? You are hitting the pockets of the poor and the ordinary people in South Africa. It just does not make sense. I do hope that you prepare a very, very strong case and, call on civil society and NGOs and NPOs if you have to. But this can definitely not go ahead. We're going to have major mayhem in the country if it does.
Yes, for sure. We are preparing our case really carefully, and we're hoping that we'll be successful. But we won't take this lying down.
Okay, we're behind you all the way. Just shout if you need some extra muscle, and hoping and praying as well. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
You too. 9:47 exactly. News and views right here on Salam Media. And oh my goodness me, that is just not good news at all. So, good people, let me give you the details of Charl de Villiers. He is with the Tyre Importers Association of South Africa. Please call him. Offer all of the support you can. Lend your voice, add your voice. If there's a petition, make sure that your name is on that petition. There's just absolutely no way that we can be able to afford between an 8 to a 69% increase on tire prices. Just no way at all. So Charl de Villiers, Tyre Importers Association of South Africa, is the man you need to contact and lend and add all of the support you possibly can. It is 9:48 news and views. We're going to be wrapping up with our final interview for the morning. Please stay with us.